I am in my 30s and I am currently sitting at $25,301 with 66 cents in credit card debt.
Our current running balance of credit card debt is $63,227.
You know those people who are always like, I bought this hotel with my credit card points, I bought this flight with my credit card points. My question is, how much money are these people spending on their credit cards?
Credit cards aren't a tool, and they're definitely not your friend. They're designed to make you spend more, pay more, and feel like you're winning, even if you're paying your balance in full every month. The whole system is built to make spending feel effortless, so you don't notice how much you're really using them and the dirty work that you're doing. And I've got the proof. Today, I'm breaking down the sneaky tactics these credit card companies use to keep you in that cycle. And stick around because I'll be reading some of your comments in today's video. So if you want to be in the next one, definitely make sure to drop one down below.
I owe $30,000 worth of credit card debt at 24 years old. This is my credit card debt breakdown.
24.
Currently have 5 different credit card accounts that I need to pay off. The first one, which is the least amount of debt that I owe, would be my Freedom Unlimited card, in which I owe $1,649.99. My Capital One card, I owe $4,388.83. On my Best Buy account, I owe $6,210. On my Chase credit card, I owe $6,856. Last but not least, Discover. This is the one that I owe the most on, and it is $10,952.
Why do we have so many credit cards with so many outstanding balances?
That brings me to a total of $30,057.68. I've looked into filing for bankruptcy, but I don't think that that's the best route for me at this time. I think that I won't qualify for Chapter 7, and I also don't think that Chapter 13 would be the best option either. There's no other option for me other than just finding other ways to make money and paying this off as soon as possible. I'm turning 25 soon, and my goal is to become debt-free and just be more smart with my money. Honestly, just never get myself back into this position.
I'll tell you right now, that better be a loaner car or her dad's, because leather chairs, panoramic sunroof, that smells like an $800 a month car payment, which you should certainly not have with $30,000 in credit card debt, the worst type of debt at 24 years old. I would completely get the thought of Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy out of your head. Filing for that at such a young age, yeah, you could bounce back, but you know, your 20s and your 30s, your 20s, let's say, are so important for getting your life figured out. It's essentially setting yourself up for the next, I don't know, let's say 80 years. So if you file Chapter 7, nobody's going to give you anything. You're not going to be able to find rent or apartments. You're not going to be able to get approved for certain loans and houses. You're just going to be an overall red flag, and you really don't want that at 24 years old. If I was in this situation, I would try to figure out some way of consolidating that debt, maybe finding some sort of bank that will give me a loan that can pay off all that, consolidate it to a lower interest rate. There's got to be some way to do this. Getting your 34% interest rate down to 7 or 10, something a little more manageable that's not going to bury you. Guys, credit cards should be the absolute last resort when it comes to borrowing money for emergencies. It's horrible because it's nearly impossible to be paying off or try to get ahead of something that has 30 to 35% interest. It's absolutely atrocious. And if that doesn't work, then I would try to find some way of balance transferring certain credit cards, pay the minimum on them, focus on the one with 0%, and try to nail that one down as fast as possible. Anywho, I wanted to read a couple of comments that you guys had left on the previous credit card insanity episode. If you haven't checked that video out, highly recommend you do. And if you want to get featured in the next episode, definitely make sure to drop a comment down below. I live a very frugal life and live within my means, and that's key here. I'm debt-free apart from my mortgage. I found out a guy I was dating had almost $50K worth of credit card debt. Huge red flag, and we ended things. You don't have to be in the same financial bracket necessarily, but it's a mindset. If you're not on the same page financially, it will be a very difficult road ahead for you relationship-wise. Yeah, this is another thing that you guys got to realize. On your road to financial freedom, your partner is going to make or break a lot of your decisions. You could be the absolute best when it comes to money, and if your partner is a reckless spender and you get married, it's over. It's over. You're going to inherit all of their debt one way or another, or they're going to spend you dry. I've heard so many stories. I know so many friends that have divorced parents because of money, because one spent all the money, the other one had tremendous amounts of student loans and just wanted to pay the minimum forever. Like, you guys got to be on the same plan when it comes to that. But that's a great question for you guys. Does that make or break a relationship with you? Like, what's the number that would make or break a relationship with you when it comes to loans, the type of loans, blah, blah, blah. Like, what would be too crazy to work with? Let me know down in the comments below.
So, those people who are always like, I bought this hotel with my credit card points. I bought this flight with my credit card points. They're always using their credit card points to pay for something. My question is, how much money are these people spending on their credit cards?
Tons.
Because I charge pretty much everything to my credit card and then just pay it off. Like the good, responsible person. But like, my credit card points from a full year can maybe pay for a flight.
Yeah.
Maybe
Same.
3 nights at a hotel. So like, I just want to know, like, how much are these people putting on their credit cards to get that many points? And I have the Amex Gold, so like, I'm not like platinum Amex and I'm not like bottom Amex, but I just want to know, like,
oh my God,
maybe
the
I have
status.
a bad credit card. It's just, it doesn't make sense.
I have the American Express green card. I downgraded from the Amex Gold because I don't care about status or anything like that. And once they started raising all the fees for Amex Gold and stuff, I said this is totally pointless. And I actually get better benefits with the green card for business. But, the real answer to this is everyone's in debt. Everyone spends a ton of money on their credit cards. They're in tremendous amounts of debt. They're paying the minimums on their cards. And maybe some people that are savvy with credit cards open up a new card and then use the incentive bonus, like whatever bonus they're offering, to pay for that flight. It's a one-time thing. And honestly, if you keep opening up tons and tons and tons and tons of credit cards, I do believe essentially it does lower your credit score. It's happened to me when I open up a new card because I do a hard inquiry on your account and it lowers your score temporarily. It does bounce back up, but if you're trying to buy something big or like a house and you're opening up credit cards, you're going to keep lowering your credit score. I had $106,000 in credit card debt when I was 30 years old. By 40, I paid it all off. I could be so far ahead if I hadn't run that crap up. The most aggressive way to credit card companies get people to spend is by raising credit lines. It's psychological. It makes people feel less bad about spending if they never hit the limit. That is certainly true. Problem is, miss a payment or two on just one card and the whole house of cards collapses. They start rolling down credit lines. Eventually, you hit like 150% credit utilization and your credit score is screwed. I never knew that because I never been in that situation, but that's interesting. You miss one payment or something like that and the house of cards collapses and you're instantly using a crazy high credit utilization and you're destroying your credit score. That is so very interesting. So you're really treading on thin ice when you do use credit cards. But as I said in the intro, credit card companies just have you doing the dirty work. You guys got to realize how credit cards make their money. Yes, they do it from interest rates and things like that. But the main way they make their money is by charging merchants a fee for every single purchase you make. The merchant pays anywhere from like 1% to 3% every single time you buy something. So credit cards just incentivize you to be the most consumeristic you possibly can because they're going to make money either way. They're going to make money off you missing payments and they're going to make even more money off you buying stuff. It's crazy. I say this all the time on this channel. When you're on your financial freedom journey, paying off debt and building an emergency fund are some of the very first and most important steps. But even when you're doing everything right, life still happens. Something pops out of nowhere, and sometimes it's more than what you've saved so far, and that's okay. Car repairs, groceries, rent, gas, whatever it is, and it hits before you get paid. That's why I want to thank Clover for sponsoring this video. Clover is an earned wage access app, not a payday loan, and it lets you access up to $400 of your own money before payday with no interest, no credit checks, and no late fees. And that part really matters because so many people end up stuck in predatory cycles like credit cards just trying to bridge a short gap. What I like about Clover is the transparency. There's no monthly memberships just to get in advance. You can wait a few days and get it for free, or if you need it instantly, you can pay a small express fee, but either way, there's no interest and no penalties hanging over your head. For situations like unexpected expenses or just needing some breathing room, that peace of mind goes a long way. It's not about reckless spending. It's about having access to your money when timing doesn't line up perfectly. And I appreciate that Clover's whole mission is about ending predatory lending and giving people fairer tools to manage short-term cash flow, not trapping them in debt. What's even crazier is after starting this channel and reading your comments, I kind of wanted to build something like this myself, something transparent that actually helps people, not prey on people. And you might be wondering, well, then how does Clover even make money? Well, Clover makes their money through the optional instant transfer fees and partnerships inside of their app. If you ever find yourself a little short before payday, check out Clover. If you're short on cash, you can access up to $400 with no credit checks or late fees. So click the link in the description or scan the QR code somewhere on the screen so that they know that I sent you. And again, huge thanks to Clover for sponsoring this video.
I'm in my 30s and I am currently sitting at $25,301 with 66 cents in credit card debt. That is my own consumption, my own doing. And
very interesting. This is the first honest person we've had here that was honest with their spending. She's literally admitting that it's her fault. She overspent and ran up her credit cards and now she's responsible. The worst part is, like, if you pay the minimum on $25K, you're probably going to spend $80,000 once you pay it off in 10 years.
I also have about a $28,000, $30,000 yearly income.
Huh?
It's
At
quite
30?
a tight budget, you guys. But I am determined and I am ready because this is about the third time that I've gotten on this journey. But this time is different. We have a game plan. I know exactly what to do. I've really nailed down my budget and I have been controlling my spending habits. I'm no longer running away. I don't need to take all those trips anymore.
My mental health is a huge component to my debt. Yeah, that's a big issue when people have shopping addictions because of the mental health. Like, they use things that cost money as an escape. I mean, yeah, one could argue it's better than drugs and stuff like that, but it still is really detrimental. This is like a slow acting poison that's going to, like, ruin your life for years to come. Good luck paying off $25,000, making 30, 40K a year. Now, not only do you have to keep buying your necessities, but you then have to pay a $500, $600, $700 a month bill on top of paying your necessities to live.
Avoiding and spending money I don't have, which is the bare minimum that I can do at the moment, given my income, because my income is not a lot of dollars in there. However, that is the next goal that I have, is that I will increase my income, which means that I'll be able to pay off credit cards even more. And I'll keep you guys updated. It is a hard journey. I have a really good meal plan going. I, again, have a really good tight budget going. I've brought down my utilities expenses by a lot, by $300, $400, which has been wonderful. So my next...
How do you bring your utilities down by $400? I think all of my utilities total is like $150, $200 max. Water, gas, electric combined. I don't have gas because I live in an apartment, but what are you just leaving your blow dryer on 24/7?
Goal is earning a larger income.
I have met people that, I went to high school with, college with, that do something similar here. And they haven't had the reality check yet because I'm still in my 20s. I'm 27. But I've spoken to, these girls too, just to pry, just to get some information. And they, for the same reason, my mental health or whatever, they take trips every single year. I mean, several times a year. There's no way a job or a career is going to let you travel and take a few weeks off every couple of months to go to some other country. And I know these people don't have real jobs, and they are in tremendous amounts of credit card debt. Tremendous amounts. And what they say is they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to marry rich. I'm just going to marry wealthy. Oh, I'll let my husband figure that out. And it's like, I hate to break it to you, but people are waking up. And, for the majority of people, that's not going to happen. And you're going to have to deal with your actions, and you're going to have to take accountability. Not saying that that's what this lady does, but it just reminded me of how many people are and think their significant other that they're going to meet in the future is just going to, bail them out immediately. Cut up all my credit cards and became debt-free at 36. I'm now 61 and still debt-free. Been a cash man since age 36 and never regret it. Cash is king. My credit score is NA and I don't care. I own my home outright, so I'm okay. Yeah, I like this. See, the biggest issue with this, and I know Dave Ramsey is big on like anti-credit cards, and I am, because the overwhelming majority of people can't handle credit cards. It's like saying drinking alcohol is totally cool. The problem is lots of people drink and drive. Lots of people, can't handle it. There's plenty of alcoholics. It is a poison, 100%. It's bad for your liver. That is proven fact, case closed. Credit cards are just as dangerous. Yes. In moderation, if you can handle it, which obviously every alcoholic thinks they can handle their alcohol, maybe it's okay. But most people can't handle it. And that's why just a blanket statement, most people can't do it and shouldn't have credit cards, is the best advice to give. It's over. This is what we call denial at its highest point. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the worst case scenario, but $100,000 with a 30% interest rate working against you is pretty bad. It's horrible. I'd love to have that working for me. I'd love it if my, high yield savings account paid me 30% on my $100K I have invested in it, but you'll never find that. But, we can charge people and screw people off of it. I really wish there was a cap to it. Let's not normalize this kind of financial mistake. Instead, create a plan to pay it off and change your financial habits. Meanwhile, I'm stressing out about 2K. Currently owe AK and can't sleep, LMFAO. Yeah, this girl has 100K. She is in so much denial that she's almost disassociated herself from it and has just created this own world that that's not her, that's not hers. That's how far gone she is. And you're going to have a lot of problems.
So President Trump has just made a pretty big move against banks.
Really?
So he announced a one-year cap on credit card interest rates at 10%, set to take effect on January 20th, the one-year anniversary of a second inauguration. Right now, most Americans are getting hit pretty hard with interest rates between 20 and 30%. And it's even higher for those with poor credit. Trump is essentially saying it's legalized robbery.
It is.
Americans are drowning in record high credit card debt, and the previous administration did nothing but let banks profit off the pain. Now Trump says he's stepping in, and he's framing this as a win for working families in the middle class, not Wall Street. Industry groups are already furious, warning this could tighten credit, especially to high-risk borrowers, but Trump's message is simple: stop ripping people off. He hasn't yet said if this will come through executive action or legislation, but draft bills are already in motion, and the clock starts ticking on January 20th.
I'm apolitical, so we're not going to talk about politics at all, but why did it take till 2026 for people to finally start putting regulations on charging people 30, 40% interest rates on loans that everybody knows dang well you're never going to get ahead of, and its sole intention is to bleed you dry and ruin your life and take all your money? Why did it take that long? Hopefully the cap is 10%. That would be excellent, because these credit card companies do not need to be making, $400 billion. It's just not ethical. Do it in an ethical way, whatever. You want to make a ton of money, go for it. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. I don't know who made this statement, but it's correct. And I say this time and time and time again. This is essentially what is causing most of the spending right now. Most people are in tremendous amounts of debt, not for themselves, but for others, because we live in such a comparison society where everybody needs to keep up with the Joneses and one up their neighbors or their boss or their coworkers and stuff like that. And all it does is send you spiraling into debt. The quicker you wake up and realize nobody cares, live for yourself, the quicker you realize that, the better your life's going to be.
You know, it's Financial Literacy Friday, and my question for you today is, if someone's in a hole of credit card debt, what's the first step that they could take to try to get out of that hole?
First step, if you got a lot of credit card debt,
Yeah. How do you start getting out of it?
I would shop all the other credit cards out there to see whether there are any balance transfer deals. First thing you should do. A balance transfer deal. Like you apply for a card, sometimes then the new card says that if you transfer your balances over,
Okay.
right, they'll give you like a special interest rate
0%,
for
something
a
like
certain
that.
period of time.
So you're hoping that it's lower than what you're paying on everything
You
else.
want it to be lower. The first thing the first thing you can do that really doesn't cost you anything right out of the gate is to go shop for other credit cards. You can transfer your balance over either through a cash advance or whatever, but you can transfer it to that gives you a deal of lower interest rates. That's the easiest and first thing you should do to reduce the cost of your credit card debt.
Okay.
You know, by reducing that, you're reducing the interest cost. Therefore, you can use more of your cash flow to pay because the biggest goal in credit card debt is what?
Pay it down.
Pay it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Principal. So step one is to try and find the lowest cost interest to carry the debt. And then step two, depending on your situation, you work through a budget or something that every month you pay more than the interest because that's the only way you're going to get ahead. So that's pretty much what I would say. The first step is shop around. I helped someone with this before I work with. That just, hey, go scour everything, find another deal and see if you can get a better interest rate. Reduce your interest carry cost. First thing.
Yeah, this is great advice. You got to realize most loans are front loaded, which means majority of the money you pay every month towards that loan is going towards interest and not towards the principal. You don't start touching the principal until you're halfway, 3/4 through paying down that loan. So what you can do here, like he mentioned, is come up with innovative ways to make your money go towards principal and not towards the interest. If I have $1,000 a month, credit card payment with a 30% interest rate and only $100 out of that 1,000 goes towards the principal, it's going to take a really long time. But if I can apply and get a personal loan, or I can get another credit card and kind of consolidate a lot of my credit card debt, and let's say it's 0% for the first year. Well, that means that if I can continue to pay the $1,000 a month, that means 100% of it, $1,000 would go towards the principal instead of interest, nothing essentially. Paid off all of my $14,000 in credit card debt last year and my entire car loan of $15,000. Jeez, $30,000 paid off in a year? That is absolutely amazing, Amanda. Felt so freaking amazing. Never going back into debt. The freedom I feel now is like nothing else. I am telling you guys, when you are out of debt, the feeling of being financially free, having your money go to where you want it to go instead of somebody else telling you, it is an amazing freaking feeling and it is so rewarding. So again, Amanda, this is absolutely awesome. If you guys have any debt payoff stories, feel free to let me know what they are down in the comments section below and I'll try to shout you guys out in future videos.
I'm drowning in credit card debt and I don't know what to do. If you're seeing this video, you probably are also drowning in credit card debt and I wish I knew how to help you, but I don't, because I don't even know what to do for me. So here's the story. I'm 30. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2.
30.
I have something called cystic fibrosis. And back in November of last year, I left my career, and I had been a working person ever since I could get a permit because my health was deteriorating, and my husband and I decided it was more important that I stay home with the kids and stop trying to work at the same time and consider my health first, because obviously, if you know what CF is, it already shortens my life expectancy and my kids deserve for me to be here as long as possible. So we did that and everything was okay because my husband worked really hard and he figured out a way to bridge the gap between the two incomes, and it was good until it wasn't. And then we started putting stuff on credit cards and we couldn't pay those credit cards off like we were used to. And then a couple months ago, we regrouped, we figured some stuff out and we found some extra money. We did some extra things to make some extra money and we started putting that towards the debt. But then our escrow went up. It was severely deficient, so our mortgage payment went up by $400 a month and took all of that extra money that we had found. And now I don't have the opportunity to go work. I don't have the opportunity because of my health to do anything else other than just take care of my kids and myself right now. And come next year, my husband's going to try to do more stuff on the side from his actual career to make money, but I am monetized on this app, so this can be a job for me and I can try to make money off of views on here. So if you relate to me, you can just watch these videos. I get qualified views and then I'll make a couple cents and I can make micropayments onto my credit card with that money to help out my husband because he's already working really hard. And I think that's it. The question that I want to ask you is, did you grow up with parents in debt? I did. I'm curious if you're in debt. Were your parents also in debt? And I'll see you in my next.
That's probably what happens. A lot of parents normalize having debt. They don't realize any better. And their kids grow up realizing that debt is okay. And then they go into tremendous amounts of debt. And that's how it starts. Very interesting. I mean, I wish her all the best. And hopefully she can make some extra money to pay down her debt from social media. It's definitely possible. But the one thing that really stuck out to me from the entire video is that she said her escrow on her house went up $400 a month because it was like undervalued or something like that. There wasn't enough in it. That's insane. And we've talked about this in previous episodes on people going house poor for not realizing like all the costs associated with it. And this is a huge problem. This happens all the time when people buy cars and houses. They don't realize all the unexpected expenses that arise from owning these things. They're not assets. And you have to prepare yourself, which is why it is so important to have an emergency fund in case stuff like this happens here. Her escrow on her house went up by $400. And if you were just skating by, well, now you're drowning. It's because people are living outside of their means. It's a vicious circle. And once you get into that debt, credit card debt specifically, it's almost impossible to get out of it. What I would suggest doing is a consolidation plan and cutting up your cards. I agree. And then you can get 2 cards. Keep those for emergencies. And when you go out and shop, you get what you need, not what you want. I agree. If you can't afford your home, you sell it and buy something smaller than you can afford. This is also very true. If you can't afford your car payments, well, you sell them and you get something used that you can afford. There are ways to get out of this debt, but you have to take your income and live responsibly. And see, lots of people have trouble with this and problems because they don't want to give up the comforts and the luxuries that they have today for a better future tomorrow. And that's pretty much how they got into this bad situation in the first place here. Most people would not give up their brand new $800 a month car and go drive a used Toyota. They would refuse to. Same thing with a house here. It's a tough pill to swallow, but if you do it, your future can be so much better. And then eventually you can get that bigger house, that nicer car down the line. Let's fix the problems now.
I'm exposing my debt so you can feel better about your debt. Let's do this. My husband and I are in a lot of debt, and we're finally in a season where we can start to pay that debt off a little more aggressively than just making the minimum monthly payments. And I decided to document our journey to being debt-free. The debt that I'm going to start out with is a debt that I don't have the exact specific numbers for just yet, just because we're working on refinancing a couple of things and that's going to take some time. That being said, I can estimate that we have over $100,000 worth of student loans and personal loans. And I can get into more of the why behind the personal loans, but maybe I'll save that for another video. Before you watch the rest of this video, if you think you have more debt than me, hit the like button. Let's move on to our credit card debt, which is really our priority right now. Gotta take a sip before this. As of today, we have 6 credit cards. We're just gonna name them credit card 1, credit card 2, credit card 3, etc. I'm also not gonna go into the why behind this credit card debt right now. I can do that in another video, and if you're curious about it, I would love to share some of those stories. We all have stories where hardships hit and we had to do what we could to survive. Credit card number 1. Current balance is $7,513. Credit card number 2 is $8,912.74. Credit card number 3, the current balance is $10,229.91.
I know she said everybody has hardships and you have to do what you have to do to survive. I don't know what the example is, but it's literally like you're taking a loan from the devil and they always come back to collect. I don't know what the expression is, and if you know it, please let me know down below. But that is what is happening when you take loans and borrow too much money from credit card companies.
Credit card 4, the balance is $10,317.05. Credit card number 5, current balance is $11,812.86. And I saved the best for last. Or maybe the most tragic. Credit card number 6, current balance is $16,582.43.
Unreal.
Our current running balance of credit card debt is $63,227. We are going all in and being extremely aggressive on how much we are paying per month.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane. $60,000 in credit card debt. Again, if you're listening or if you're in a similar situation, try to balance transfer. Try to take out some sort of personal loan. Try to consolidate. Try to get that interest rate down from the 30%, 25% that it's at, down to like 10, 5, whatever it is, just lower, so that more of that money that you pay minimum and then some, pay more than the minimum, can go towards the principal and not as much towards the interest. And that's how we can get past this here. And you got to figure out why you got and how you got into that situation in the first place, and really just pretend credit cards don't exist. Because there's a lot of people that don't have credit cards and they can get by totally fine. Maybe not totally fine, but they can figure out other ways to get by. And you need to be creative here and stop going to the easiest, most convenient, and most comfortable offer, which is taking a loan from the devil. It's essentially what it is. Anywho, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you liked today's episode. If you have any questions, definitely make sure to drop some down below. And if you haven't seen my previous episode on credit card insanity, definitely stick around after this. Make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.